With WWDC 2011 coming earlier next week, it seems like it would be a good time to go through the history of these keynotes. This is Apple Time. Hey guys, welcome to Apple Time. I'm your host Jacob from The Latest Tech. Here on Apple Time, we are the best YouTube show that gives you Apple news from the past week. First off, in the history of WWDC, all the way back in 1995, we saw the first ever keynote of WWDC by Apple. Apple released one of their softwares that is no longer around, which is called OpenDoc. From there, all the way until the year 2000, Apple has been giving progress reports on their latest version of Mac OS X. In 2000, they released their final developer preview of the future operating system, as well as a lot of different softwares. In 2001, Mac OS X had only recently been released, but WWDC 2001 added their first release of Mac OS X Server and WebObjects 5. Leather jackets with a large blue X embroidered on the back were distributed to all the attendees. In 2002, Apple released their second update to Mac OS X, which was 10.2, and they released their first ever version of QuickTime. Later in that keynote, they said their final farewell to Mac OS IX. In 2003, Apple demonstrated their new computer called the Power Mac G5, and also demonstrated their new software application referred to as iMacs, which included the first versions of iPhoto, iMovie, and iDVD. At the 2004 keynote, new displays were introduced with the size of 23 and 30-inch widescreen. iTunes 4.9, the first version with integrated podcast support, was demoed by Steve Jobs, and Mac OS 10.4 Tiger was also previewed. All attendees received a developer preview of Tiger. In 2006, Apple replaced the Power Mac G5 with the much-anticipated Mac Pro. Mac OS X was also updated to 10.5 Leopard, which included new applications like Time Machine, Boot Camp, Front Row, Photo Booth, which were all packaged with the operating system, as well as updates that included Spotlight enhancements, Core Animation, Universal Access enhancements, Mail enhancements, Dashboard enhancements, and iChat enhancements. Leopard was announced to most likely be released for sale in spring 2007. In 2007, one of Apple's biggest products was announced, which was the iPhone first generation. At first, the iPhone didn't include the App Store as well as other applications that are generally used today. At the 2008 keynote, Apple announced the iPhone 3G with a complete redesign and some more support for App Store. As one of the biggest events in Apple history in 2009, announcements at the keynote included the release of the iOS 3 software that was announced to developers in that March of 2003, a demonstration of Mac OS 10.6, and the new 13-inch MacBook Pro with updates to the 15 and 17-inch MacBook Pros and the new iPhone 3GS. The biggest part of the 2009 keynote was probably the release of the iPhone 3GS. In 2010, Apple announced the current iPhone, which is the iPhone 4. They also released new software for the iPhone, which included iOS 4, FaceTime, and iMovie apps. Starting on Monday, the 2011 WWDC will include the following updates to Apple products and software. They'll be announcing Mac OS 10.7 Lion, as well as iOS 5 for iOS devices, and the new cloud-based music network referred to as iCloud. So with that being Apple's WWDC history rundown, I'd like to hear what you guys found. Please comment below by letting me know. I want to thank you guys for watching, and remember to check back here next weekend when I talk about Apple's top news from the week of the 5th. Charlie Triangle.